I hadn't heard of Anorexia Athletica,
Yes.
but the more I read about you, the more I could understand how that happened. I mean, you've always been a very fit, sporty woman, girl in your teens, and you went to Loughborough University, which is renowned for its sports, isn't it?
It's the hub, really.
The hub, exactly. So, and you say it was there, really, that this all started. What changed for you?
So, I was basically at the university on the basis that I was at the time on the Great Britain squad for triathlon, actually training with the former and current Olympics women on there. And it was our first session there, and we had male coaches only, and all of the females just got put on the weighing scales, which I'd never thought of my weight, my body. I'd just come back from World Championship, and from there we just got sent straight to a nutritionalist. And to me, I then sort of became more aware of weight, of physique. Sports scientists also said, you know, for travelling, you needed to be lighter with running. And
so when they weighed you, did you weigh more than the other women? Is that what, or was it just the fact of being weighed? You thought, oh, I haven't even thought about my weight.
Yeah, exactly that. I had no concept of weight. I didn't need to. I was fueled. I was healthy. I'd come back, you know, 18th in the world. I didn't think of weight as any form. But again, because I was thrown into this extreme environment, I just then became under the microscope by everyone.
But you underate, you overtrained as well. This had a big impact, not just on your physical prowess, but your whole personal life, your studies, everything like that. Jill, what I would like to know between the two of you is, Natalie was quite aware of her abilities as an athlete, but she also had a mirror in her house. She could see, and I saw pictures that we're not going to transmit today. But could you just not see that you didn't look well?
It's a strange one, because I knew, you know, I was studying sport and exercise science. I knew full well exactly what I was doing, but I became so engulfed and poisoned by what was taking over me that my mental state was not healthy. I saw that as that wasn't enough.
And how extreme was the exercise? How much exercise were you doing in one day, say?
So usually, I mean, we would train up to perhaps 4 or 5 hours, but I would do the additional sort of 2 to 3 hours additional because I saw other people doing it. So to me, that was the norm, but obviously to the majority, not.
But you weren't eating.
And one of the main problems with Anorexia Athletica is that the focus becomes so intense on the training goals and on the weight loss goals in relation to the sports performance that typically athletes will stop even noticing and won't take any notice at all of physical symptoms that might be developing, of knowledge that things are not going well, of psychological problems that might also be beginning.
But let's not, you know, be totally down on a lot of what we're seeing. My goodness me, you look at some of these athletes, you know, people like Tom Daly, Jessica Ennis. My goodness, if you're to have role models in life, how fantastic. But there is a limit and there is a level. It is fantastic that they can be aspirational. Where do you cross the divide line, or how do we ensure that this is a positive thing?
Well, that's one of the difficulties, because that distinction between the very, very healthy and the very, very high levels of sport performance and what the discipline that's required for that and the hard work, and it becoming something that's really excessive and obsessive to the exclusion of everything else and to the point that it becomes harmful is very difficult. And we can see from our success in the current Olympics that one thing that's focused on is what more can we do to make sure that our athletes perform better and win more medals. What more can we do, which can be translated into athletes feeling they have to train more. But actually, that it doesn't mean that. It means training to the optimum level and having the body in a healthy state, in the optimum state to perform well.
And how are you now?
Yeah, fine. A lot better. I mean, I don't think it'll ever truly leave me, because it is more than a physical thing. It is a mental disorder, and unfortunately I am labelled with that. But I don't allow it to dictate my life to the extent that it did.
But you got married, you had children, so it didn't affect your fertility, fortunately.
No, I mean, there was a point with my low menarche and everything that I did have the chance of perhaps not having any children.
Just a whole word about challenging this issue, Jill, and the role social media has to play, the role we've all got to play in this. How do you see that playing out? I mean, particularly since we're also aware of things during the Olympics.
We are, and there's an increasing trend to put things about exercise and training on social media and selfies. And I think ideally the aim needs to be focusing on health and fitness rather than on unrealistic images, because we've talked about how a lot of comparison goes on. People look at the images on social media. Often they're doctored or they're taken in particular ways, and they make comparisons, and athletes make comparisons with each other and assumes they need to do certain things. So although sharing on social media can be a really positive motivational experience, it can also be very harmful.
We've got to be realistic, haven't we? Well, we're so glad you're well now. Thank you for coming in and talking about that. And you, Jill, thank you very much. For more of the same, just click here. And don't forget, you can subscribe for even more of these amazing videos exclusive to our channel.
It's a universal problem that a lot of us have, and it's something I still struggle with, especially since I've become pregnant. My body's changing. I'm kind of having to readjust to this new body. But growing up, it was really hard because of being bullied. But I learned very quickly that you have to surround yourself with people that are positive and that support you. And I've kind of just carried that on through my adult life.